Baiju Thomas, Research Scholar, Ramakrishna Mission, Vivekananda Educational Research Institute present here?
Yes, present.
So, Father, will you be able to present your paper now?
Yes, surely.
Okay. Thank you, Father. You may present your paper.
Okay. Shall I start?
Father, you may.
Okay. Good evening to all of you. Myself, Baiju Thomas. I'm a research scholar. My paper is Fostering Communication in Modern World, an overview of communication studies for 21st century education system. Introduction. People communicate non-verbally and verbally in various ways, from a young child's first guess to an adult's indirect verbal exchange. This behavior serves multiple purposes, including communicating needs, sharing knowledge, and managing emotions. The four essential components of communication, reading, writing, speaking, and listening, are sometimes regarded as the comprising communication. Although obvious, this distinction would cancel how complicated and diverse communication is the real life. The field of communication studies is most relevant. You are a lifetime communication experience, even though you can probably never take a communication studies course. Even those with the highest level of theoretical abilities and intelligence can communicate. Using this parametric approach as a guide, you can learn the skills and acquire the knowledge required to into a more engaging ethical communicator. The concept of communication. To understand strategic communication and better adapt it to the needs of the current strategy building process, this paper aims to investigate the concept of communication in strategic communication and suggest a new lens through which we see communication. Two people communicate with one another and can exchange information. Transferring one's own thoughts, feelings, and experience to another human being is the essence of communication. In this field, the idea of communication is understood through the various meta theories and lens, the precise nature of which is not always clear. Concerning has been raised concerning strategies, communicating ability to.
We are not able to see your slides. We are not able to see your slides.
Not able to see.
Yes, Father. Yes, Father. We are not able to see your slides.
Okay, once more.
Can you press the slideshow view?
Yes, one minute. Slideshow. Now we can see, ma.
Yes, Father. I'm able to see.
Okay. The main forms of communication. People sometimes limit their meaning of communication to verbal conversation. It covers a far large range of human contact. Nonverbal indications include change in vocal volume or pitch, a lifted eyelid, or a gaze in the opposite direction. Let us investigate how we might share our innermost sentiments and thoughts. Two basic methods to be classified the wide range of communication are by the means used and the nature of the message and its receipts. Formal communication. As per our definition, communication is functionally related when directed towards a workflow rather than an individual. To repeat, the volume of the rule itself is greater than that of one who does it. Effective communication frequently employs the use of formal speech. Even though formal communication is not a term studied or used by many academics, it is nonetheless important to most theories and research on effective management techniques. Beginning with the definition of formal communication, we examine the phenomena, distinguishing features, and development as a cornerstone of internal cooperative discourse. Informal communication. The term informal communication describes interaction between number of an institution staff, and that not based on official rules or hierarchy, but rather on the existing intimacy and trust. Informal communication can be seen as the counterpart of formal communication or two ends of the same spectrum. In order to share the information and coordinate the effort, employees at the level of organization structure resort to more casual means of communication. Informal lines of communication do not need to higher up approval as their formal counterparts do. Its rapid dissemination is due to largely or to word of mouth and other understanding of communication channels. Interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication serves several purposes in our society. Self-talking or inward dialogue can help the social adaptation and relationship maintenance. Language communication by having this internal conversation, human engage in interpersonal communication. Indeed, intrapersonal refers to the activity within a single person or a communication is collective term for exchanging information. Interpersonal communication, there is a need for and possibility of interaction between these four channels of discourses. Planned interpersonal contact is constrained more by the norms of society than a prepared chat because it involves two or more people. Group communication. Individually and collectively, members of an organization are responsible for a wide range of responsibility. They need to be able to work independently, but they should always be bold and ask for assistance from their co-workers if it is needed. These individuals are typically either supervisors or peers. Very much opposite to effective teamwork necessitates strong interpersonal skills on other part of all participants. People in a group are more successful and have more fun when they are work together to achieve their common goals. It is therefore crucial that everyone makes effort to develop standards for effective group communication. Public communication. On the other hand, public communication is essential to social and democratic organization and is required to reveal their outcome, the power of the people. The most important forms of collective decision making, such as election, referendum, town hall meeting, or parliamentary votes, are governed by the guidelines and held accurate outcome over the choice set. The term public communication refers to the communication process that, while not essential and deserving of producing a clear choice, are essential in supplying collective voice, choice, situation, and knowledge, pertinent argument and judgment, and set of values, interests, or attitude. Better public communication can help to reserve negative trends. Like most social science, media, and communication studies have always scrappled the lines between descriptive and nominative investigations. Mass communication. The communication process has considerably increased due to the mass media like books, the press, cinema, radio, television, video, and internet. Although mass communication is frequently connected with modern mass media, it is vital to remember that these media are process and should not be mistaken for communication. Mass communication occurs when electric or printed media communicate a general message to a large population. Printed media still play a vital role in the public communication despite the dramatic efforts of expansion of electronic media this over the past 10 years. Use mass media frequently, including blogs, social media, and internet, and television. Television, radio, and podcast are the different medium of mass communication. Conclusion. Since communicating is a leader's key responsibility and modern management encourage it, the tool of management is information, which is made available through communication. Communication is possible through both spoken and written means. Speaking, listening, and understanding are the three components of communication. To communicate effectively, one must use both body and the presentation skill. Teachers' ability to modify students' knowledge depends on communication. It is important to acknowledge that communication is engaged in enjoyable all the levels. The important clear communication are if efficient technology used in sometimes understood. Only with the leaders' support can be a digital communication plan be successfully implemented throughout an organization. This is true regardless of the method, nature, medium, or manner of communication. Only when the receiver understands the sender's intent, meaning, and provides a record response can the communication process be considered a good overview of communication studies for the 21st century education system. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for time to.
Thank you, Father. Your presentation was good. You brought out all the important concepts regarding the communication, and you also brought out the ways to foster communication in the vernacular languages too. So that was good. That was a very good presentation, Father. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the Pavitra Devi PhD Research Scholar, Sri Sarada College for Women, is present here? Priya Singh of Amity University, Raipur. Mihi Nancy, will you be able to present your paper now?
Ma'am, can you wait for 2 minutes? There is a problem in my system. So, shall I present after the next person?
Okay, Mihi. Okay, Mihi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, yeah.
Rajshri, ma'am, are you presenting any papers?
Yeah, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Rajshri, ma'am, are you presenting any paper?
Yeah, here I'm Pavitra, ma'am.
Oh, you're Pavitra Devi or Sri
Yes,
Sarada College?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Uh,
Very good evening, ma'am.
would you be able to present your paper?
Yes, I'm ready, ma'am.
Yes, you may present your paper.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. My tentative topic is women as a cultural victim, and my author is Jayshree Mishra, and have taken as the novel The Scandalous Secret. While here in this paper, I wish to focus on the aspects of how women are being victimized by the cultural in justice enforced by the society, and through the protagonist Neha, whom have trapped the predicament in terms of culture. The author here, the Jayshree Mishra, emphasizes about the real struggle of women under the cover of tradition and orthodoxy in Indian cultural setting. While talking about Jayshree Mishra, he had placed herself as one among the leading Indian novelists. Her writing takes a significant part where she depicts women who fight back their depressed state. While talking about the protagonist of the novel, the transformation of her protagonist takes place from being oppressed, passive to revolt and revolutionary, the cruelty and injustice exposed by men. The protagonist Neha had a luxurious life with her husband. Both together had a busy and speedy life. Though Neha had this kind of happy life, behind the happy life, she had an untold truth of her past life that had been enrooted with her, which she never tried to reveal to her parents nor her beloved husband because of the cultural problems which had happened in her life. Um, while in her life, she was conceived by sexually assaulted by her professor at the age of 18. By no other choice of what he must be done at the younger, tender age, she gave her child for adoption. And in the age of 18, she don't have enough courage to speak against her injustice. Also, the person who raped her has threatened to ruin her entire life if she dares to speak out the truth. Like in this, I have pointed out that Indian society is highly tied with age old customs where family integrity is considered as core significant. In such a case, westernization of thoughts, ideas, and concept becomes the much social taboo. Here, Jayashree Mishra in her work not only describe about women's sufferings, isolation, and victimized state in general, but a detailed account of the mother and daughter relationships too. And she explores the concept of how motherhood have helped the protagonist to break years of unheard frustration, which Nega was facing all throughout her past life. Mishra writes her work not only to describe the dejected and suppressed state of a woman, but she want to wipe up the inferiority complex among women and urges the need of being proud to be born as a woman. She really wants women to cope with every struggle and to build up the strength to fight bravely rather than being submissive. She claims that the society is always eager to blame a woman, but would fail to understand the men or opportunities who ruins the life of women, as it is in the case of Neha, who was an easy prey of sexual desire. Here, the Indian society would never accept the impregnancy of the woman before marriage and would consider such an act as transgress and also disgrace. Here, the author has a personal touch of being suppressed and voiceless in her life. So he uses her writing as a key tool to speak against the voiceless victim. She tries to bring out the self-transformed individual, especially for women who feels that in spite of social pressures and struggles, a woman need to battle against the oppressed and marginalized state. This is the important point I want to point it out throughout the paper. And she significantly present the lack of emotional relationship between parents and children in the even in the present society, where children trust in isolation rather than parents' care and support. They fear to reveal any incidents and secrets to their parents because of this cultural contempts. So, in the initial stage, Neha used to suffer. Later on, he revealed everything to their surroundings, even to their husband and the child who she given for adopt. Later on, she have exposed everything through the letter. Finally, I have to keep a statement here through the statement of Mogini Giri. The society gives a biased statement for men and women that a man when commits mistake is left free, where a woman when commits mistake is being caged. So even in the contemporary society, it is happening, which shouldn't be encouraged by any other family members. So whether the child or a younger person or whatever the relationship might be, there should be free of cultural customs, because each and everyone, every individual are facing so many problems without even they are not a victim, but they are pretending to be the victim. So through this novel, I'm supposed to prove this statement. Thank
So
you.
it's a very excellent presentation, Pavitra.
Thank
It
you, ma'am. Thank you.
dealt with the novel beautifully, as well as the contemporary issues also very beautifully.
Yes.
That is a very
Thank
good
you.
aspect of a researcher discussing both the novel as well as the current issues in a very subtle manner. It is a very
Thank you.
excellent presentation. Very
Thank
good.
you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
The
so
next
much.
presenter, if you are free, you would be able to present your paper.
Ma'am, shall I leave, ma'am? Excuse me, ma'am.
Uh,
Or
yeah,
have to wait?
no, you needn't wait. If you want to wait, you can, or otherwise, if you want to leave, you may.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your words, ma'am. Thank
Thank you, Pavitra.
you.
Is Syriac Matthew here, research scholar, Sacred Heart School, Kuchipudi, Guntur from Andhra Pradesh? Is Priya Singh from Amity University, Raipur present here? Mihi, would you be able
Yeah,
to?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Shall I present?
Yes, Mihi, thank you. You may.
Thank you, ma'am. My topic is reflections of Jane Austen in Manju Kapoor's novels. Manju Kapoor and Jane Austen, as we all know, are the two prominent fiction writers in English. Though they belong to the different cultures, their perspectives of women and the society can be linked. The most striking feature of their fiction is marriage, which has been considered as an ultimate destiny in women's life. Both have explored the position of women and the life of middle class people in their respective society. The paper entitled The Reflections of Jane Austen in Manju Kapoor's novels is a short comparative study on Manju Kapoor and Jane Austen. The art of writing is a gift that God has showered upon each and every writer to express their powerful thoughts spontaneously. In the beginning stages, the world of art had been dominated by the male writers. Women were not provided freedom to identify themselves in the field of writing because of patriarchal culture that denied the authorship of women writers. The male authors depicted women as objects of pleasure. The Western civilization has always made male writers as the father of a text. Among the most prominent feminist writers, after a long feminist struggle, women were allowed to explore in the field of writing only in the early 20th century. Both Western and Indian women writers started celebrating their female consciousness through their art. Among the most prominent feminist writers, Jane Austen and Manju Kapoor have explored the female world with their keen insights. Jane Austen is an English novelist known primarily for her six major novels. Her plots often explore the dependence of women on men and the importance of marriage to get social status in the Western society. Her novels are also realistic, sentimental, and portraying the picture of 18th and 19th century. Manju Kapoor is a contemporary Indian woman novelist. Her style of writing novels is interesting as it speaks much about the unspoken aspects of women's true feelings. While focusing on the concepts of family, love, and freedom, Manju Kapoor has followed the footsteps of Jane Austen in her writings. Both writers first have excavated the fact that a woman has to find security through marriage and man must be hailed and worshipped as a hero. A woman is expected to be subservient to him. She is also expected to be completely dependent on man. Manju Kapoor explores the urban Indian middle class like that. Jane Austen's heroines to belong to middle class families. Both writers are familiar with this class and are comfortable in writing about it. Kapoor's Indian middle class has majority of population. This class can be identified with the joint family structure, although this notion has also undergone change. The family lives together and the personal space is limited. Kapoor in her novel Home beautifully presents the joint family of Banwarilal, who is the head of the family. The story revolves around his two sons and their family, where the generations survive in the same home till the novel ends, though there is personal distance among them. But in England, joint family structure is unknown, and there is space for every individual in the family to take nuclear decisions for them. Education is considered important in both societies. In India as well as in British, girls are allowed to get educated for gaining a good uh, a marital status. Marriage is considered a union of two families in both the societies. Both novelists have discussed the advantages and disadvantages of marriage as well as the impacts of marriage. Next, both of them have expressed their culture and its aspects effectively apt to their time. The major theme followed by both novelists is marriage. Manju Kapoor too deals with the theme of marriage widely in her novels. Jane Austen's heroines, along with their mothers, are worried only about getting suitable partners. From the age of 17, girls are allowed to meet and mix up with others. They could attend social gatherings and balls in a nice manner and display their sense of culture, dance, and music to attract the attention of young men. In Pride and Prejudice, the daughters of Mrs. Bennet attend the social gatherings and participate in ball dance under the wish of their mother to find a suitable partners. It shows the middle class people's mindset in Western countries to upgrade their social status through marriage. And both Jane Austen and Manju Kapoor's women fall in love before their marriage. Marian with Willoughby, Elizabeth with Wickham, Fanny with Crawford, and Emma with Frank Churchill fall in love, and their relationship is not at all harmful to their culture. But it is not considered as a consider it, but it is not accepted in India, and it is considered as a cultural practice in Western countries. Similarly, in Manju Kapoor's novels, the heroines fall in love before their marriage, though it's not accepted in the society. Virmadi's love with Professor Harish affects the whole family. Asda's love with Bundy during her adolescent stage is stopped by her mother, Sita, who treats Bundy in such a way that he stops visiting Asta. Like that, except Virmadi, all others marry the men chosen by their parents only, but the women of Jane Austen have full freedom to choose and reject their lovers. It depicts the cultural difference between Western countries and countries like India. In both of their novels, the mothers play a vital role in the life of all the heroines. Both authors highlight the darker sides of motherhood and the relationship between the mother and daughter, which is not affectionate or friendly in their novels. Jane Austen's portrayal of mother seems strange that the mother becomes the cause of heroines' misfortunes and discomforts. Jeffrey Gorer, in his Myth in Jane Austen, says Mrs. Dashwood encourages Marian in her romanticism. Mrs. Bennet's behavior is directly responsible for Elizabeth and Jane's unhappiness, and it is suggested for Lydia's elopement. Like the mother characters of Jane Austen, Manju Kapoor's protagonists are disturbed by their mother's tradition-bound ideas. The mothers expect their daughters to follow traditional values strictly like them and never have a desire to uplift their daughter's life in the society. They often become the blind supporters of patriarchy and force their daughters to marry and give birth of children rather than being independent. Kasturi's expectation from Virmadi to become a dutiful woman of the family and second mother of her 11 children is a cause of ruin between the mother and daughter. Jeffrey Gorer further highlights the father-daughter relationship psychologically. He states that the novels of Jane Austen have the central theme in which the heroines despise their mothers and marry a man who is a father surrogate. Um, Unlike the mothers, the fathers encourage their daughters. In Manju Kapoor's novel too, the fathers encourage their daughters to achieve a lot in their career and occasionally hold their hands as supporters. Both novelists have taken up gender issues as they are perceived in according to their respective societies. Austen has discussed about the issues related to inheritance in her novels. She highlights how the rights of inheritance is enjoyed only by men. Like that, Manju Kapoor's heroines are affected by the male dominant society. It shows the difference between two countries in treating, it shows the similarities between two countries in treating women. Unlike Western countries, in India, women are monitored both before and after marriage in their lives. Uh, Conclusion: thus, both the novelists have shown how women are supposed to please men. Their individual identity of the woman gets merged with that of her husband after her marriage in many cases. There is a general belief that woman is weaker sex and all the major works and decisions should be taken only by man. On the whole, Austin and Kapoor have written widely and intensively on the position of women and their culture in their respective societies. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mihi. Thank you, Mihi. It was an excellent presentation. So, from your papers, we are able to understand that right from the times of Austin till today, every
Mm,
our identity is only fixed to our husband, and beyond it, we don't have any identity. So it's hard
yeah,
to get an identity or create an identity in the patriarchal society.
yeah, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Thank
It
you,
was
ma'am. Thank you.
it was an excellent presentation, Mihi. You are able to
Thank you, ma'am.
respond very clearly.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mihi.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
And is anyone present here would be able to present her paper? The admins of the conference room, please take a look at the presenters. Does anyone want to present their paper here?
Ma'am, I think no one is here
Oh, okay, me.
except Miss Pa and myself.
Uh, so no,
Yeah,
actually,
one man. Oh yeah.
uh,
What's his name? Saint
Hello?
Joseph's. Yeah.
Hello?
hello, hello. We are able to hear you. Hello.
Now he's also going to present a paper. It seems.
Oh,
I am.
okay, okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We are
Hello,
able
can you
to
hear
hear.
me?
Yes, sir. We are able to hear you.
Hello?
Ma'am, there is a technical issue, I think, for him.
Ah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Network problem.
He
Yeah.
has a problem. He is not able to hear us.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. He's raising his hands.
Hands. Hmm. Please apologize me for the background music. My place is we are having a
Hello,
feast here.
can you hear me?
Ah, yes,
Hello?
yes, sir. We are able to hear you. We are able to hear you. You may start the presentation. Yes, sir. We are able to hear
I
you.
am Sirek Matthew. My topic is I am Sirek Matthew. My topic is that about APC Abdul Kalam, madam. Hello? Hello, my topic is APC Abdul Kalam, madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are
Hello?
able to hear you. Your
Can I
topic
proceed?
is Doctor
Can I
Dr. APJ
yeah,
Abdul
can I
Kalam,
yeah,
unique
can I
person with
proceed?
pure wisdom and spirituality.
Yeah, can I proceed, madam? Can I
Yes,
present,
sir. You
Yes,
madam?
can
sir.
present, sir.
Yes, sir. You can.
Yeah, madam. It's actually
Yes,
Sir, you
sir.
can
I'm just
present. We
talking
are
about
able to hear.
the vision. Yeah, the vision and mission and the spirituality of APJ Abdul Kalam, madam. And See, actually, the 11th President of India, and he got the Bharat Ratna Award, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and he was born in October 15 and 1931 in Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu, to a Tamil Muslim family, and his father was Janabuddin, who was a boat owner and part-time local mosque imam. And his mother is Ashima, was a nurturing housewife. His father was a close relationship with Hindu and Christian critics who installed spiritual ideas and belief in Kalam and Kalam graduated from Rameshwaram High School, where he distinguished himself as a dedicated student with a specific interest in mathematics, and he subsequently obtained his first degree in physics at St. Joseph College in Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu, which was in association with the University of Madras. Following his BSc, he enrolled in an aeronautical engineering degree program at Madras Institute of Technology in Tamil Nadu. In 1963, he was chosen to work as a rocket engineer with the Indian Committee for Space Research. His NASA expertise made as he worked as one of the primary advocates of India's now thriving space program. He played a key part in the construction and the development of India's first indigenous satellite launch vehicle SLV-3, which successfully launched the Rohini RS-1 satellite in the Earth's orbit in July 1980. SLV-3 was Kalam was fortunate to be mentored by a Nobel and Indian scientists such as Professor Vikram Sarabhai, Professor M.C.K. Menon, and Professor S.T.B. S. Dhawan, and Professor Rajaramana. And when we look at the development of the mission level of Abdul Kalam, we can talk that about is agriculture and food processing production by 2020, and infrastructure. If you look at it, you can see a reliable and the quality of electric power, and including solar farming and for all parts of the country, providing urban amenities of rural areas and interlinking of rivers. And in education level, we can see a lot of development here, given that especially in the healthcare and it provides a social security for the eradication of literacy and illiteracy in the health and etc. When we talk about the information and communication technology, we can see that there's a lot of outcome he had given. This is one of the fundamental skills and the source of income in ICT may be utilized for tele-education, telemedicine, and e-governance to boost education in remote places, healthcare, and administrative transparency. Moreover, in different reasons, Kalam was dubbed as a people's president and missile man of India. As an obituary, we can see the noted writer Mark Tully says that he became known as the people's president because he welcomed the people's he welcomed people inside the palace in New Delhi. Actually, it's constructed for the last viceroy by the British architects Edwin Lutyens. He made himself available whenever he was traveled. Truly went to say that Kalam was a key figure in some of his most successful technical programs, including the creation of and launch of SLV-3 and the indigenous guiding missiles, which earned himself the title of Missile Man of India. This leadership was a very unique and exemplary, as it was now documented in a paper titled Visionary and Leadership, a survey of literature and a case study of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the adult by S.R. Dwivedi, madam. It's over, madam. Hello?
Okay, thank you for introducing APJ Abdul Kalam in a very different way. And thank you for
Yeah, thank
bringing
you.
life incidents in a very short, crisp manner. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.